Back with another video. What's the word? What y'all on? Welcome to EJ Studios. Today gonna be a little different. Yes, we're gonna be talking about the icon 2Pac. We're gonna do a recap of all the females he dealt with. We're gonna have a little fun today. Don't take this video negative. It is what it is. It's the truth. Alright, let's get straight to it. Now y'all know how the media be with Future, with his past relationships or females he dealt with. I feel like that's kind of like, I ain't comparing him don't get it confused, but back in the 90s, man, 2Pac had a nice little roster. But at the end of the day, we all know his main, who he was really in love with, who he was gonna wife up for real. Y'all already know that was Kadada. So we gonna talk about all the females and then we're gonna end it with Kadada. And then that's gonna be it for the video. So we're gonna start it off like this. Early 90s, Yoyo. Yoyo was a female solo artist who's most known for appearing on Ice Cube's It's a Man World. She met 2Pac in the studio in the early 90s and later on doing concerts. At first, 2Pac and Yoyo was friends, but then they became sexual partners. In a 2016 interview, Yoyo said she and 2Pac dated until the day he died. And she also added that their relationship was like a brother and sister as well. In the mid-90s, Pac linked up with Jara Everett. She's similar to Kareen Steffens. She one of them types. She got a book with all the celebrities she didn't mess with. She got like stories with R. Kelly. She got stories with Jazzy Faye and so on. But what I can say, when her and 2Pac linked up in her book, she said out of all the celebrities she done hooked up with, she said 2Pac was her favorite. She quoted in her book that he was so down to earth and was a different person behind closed doors. Moni Love, she explains it that her and 2Pac used to sleep together on Drink Champs. She also explained it with Ed Love on the interview. Y'all go check that out. But yeah, they used to mess around when he was with Digital Underground and she was with Queen Latifah group. They was both rookies at that time and they was messing around. They used to sleep with each other in the hotel. 1993, Pac hooked up with Madonna. 2Pac made Madonna feel like a gangster. Quoted, she told David Letterman, she dropped the F-bomb on live TV because, as she says, 2Pac had got her all riled up about life in general. It doesn't sound like the easy relationship, but how did 2Pac and Madonna become a couple? And how long did they date? It was their mutual friend, Rosie Perez, that played on White Man Can't Jump. She the one that introduced them at the Soul Train Awards.
I go to the bathroom, I bump into Madonna, and she's like, girl, hook me up.
Stop!
I was like, really? She goes, yes, hook it up. Please. Went back over, I said, yo, Pac, you'll never believe this. You know Madonna? He goes, yeah. I go, she wants to hook up with he just got up at his seat. He's like, where is she? Come on.
They maintained a relationship while 2Pac was serving a sexual assault sentence at the Clinton Correctional Facility. Their relationship lasted a little over a year, which is pretty impressive for a celebrity pair. So yeah, you hear this little thing with her.
Later, I'm trying to, slide by and go see her because, she's a side piece to me.
Right.
So I'm trying to go see her on the late night like I normally do, leave that back door open. And I'm like, what's happening? I'm finna slide through. You know what I'm saying? Leave that back door open. And me with, I don't think Pac would like that.
So y'all heard it from Stu, man. 2Pac was backdooring your girl, you feel me? He took two of Snoop Dogg's side chicks, you know what I'm saying? So that's how it was.
I did not realize how many women he was messing with because I had so many. I was supposed to be seated maybe 5-10 rows back. They switched my seat and put it first row.
Wow.
So many women, recording artists, women in the industry, walking up to us, standing in front of us, looking at me, then looking at him and like, oh, so you with her?
1994, he linked up with Whitney Houston. Now, it is rumored that 2Pac and Madonna relationship ended over 2Pac having an affair with Whitney Houston. In 2016, Memoir, Every Little Step, Bobby Brown, he wrote that Whitney did her share of cheating with quite a few of the producers and artists she worked with. But he did name Tupac as one of Whitney Houston's affair. Tupac was also dating Jasmine, Guy from a Different World. She was there for him through that rape trial in the case. So they was messing around for a little bit as well. Tupac also had a fling with Karen Parsons, also known as Hillary Banks. It's stories about that floating on Art of Dialogue. Cam Capone News by Desiree Smith, who Tupac also was in relations to as well. Desiree stated in that era is pretty much who didn't sleep with Tupac at that time.
You would have a harder time finding women that he did not sleep with that was on the scene at that time.
When her and Tupac used to mess around, they would talk about stuff like that, hooking up with various celebrities that Tupac been with.
You know, so that when he was speaking about her in instance, he was just saying like, yeah, you know, she don't even seem the type, right? And I was like, nah, hell no.
And she also said when her and Tupac was dealing with each other, he was very loyal to her. Right around town, Tupac found his way around Karen through Jada Pinkett, who was a close friend to Tupac as well. And she was dating Will Smith at the time. People say her and Tupac had a thing. They just had a close bond with each other. Pac and Mary J. Blige was messing around low-key when she was in a relationship with KC from Jodeci. They had a toxic relationship. It's interviews everywhere. If you go on Art of Dialogue, there's many people like Kendrick Wells, he speaks on it. You got interviews where Reggie Wright talks about it. I think with Cam Capone News, if I'm not mistaken, and I think he did one on Art of Dialogue. And I want to say Vlad TV. Yeah, Tupac picked her up from the hotel. Mary will sneak out the hotel window. Pop, pull up, they get up out of there. And there's also stories, there would be times Mary J and Diddy baby mama, they used to go see Suge and Tupac. So they had like a double date and they'd link up and do stuff. Speaking of Mary J. Blige, man, she an icon. She remind me one of my aunties. And I was just watching Power yesterday. And it's like every time I see her, I always think of Tupac said about her when she sat on his lap. It was like a fishy smell, which I know that was years ago. But it's like when I hear stuff like that, that's the first thing that comes to my mind when I see her. I'll be like, dang, Mary J had a smell to her. That's crazy. But they definitely was messing around with each other on the down low. There's also pictures floating around that Tupac and Sarah Chapman, which is Diddy's other baby mama to his daughter Chance, that they was messing around. Pac also had a little fling with Sally Richardson. That was Snoop Dogg's girl at first. Tupac ended up taking her from Snoop. Snoop also talks about that in the interview as well. He said that Tupac took Sally Richardson from him. Tupac and Faith Evans, they had their little thing going. Him and Biggie's situation. And to this day, she claimed she did not have no relations with him. That's not gonna look right. Her saying, coming up and saying, okay, yeah, I slept with Tupac. So she come out with these lies. And there's stories with Delray Richardson and other people said that they had relations. So I don't think I need to go into details with that situation. Everybody know about that he had relations with Faith Evans. It's no secret, Left Eye and Tupac, they had a close bond. Left Eye was really in love with Tupac. She really wanted to be with him. Y'all need to check that documentary out called Hopelessly in Love, starring Andre Rison. He telling the story. Kind of remind me of Pac and Jada. They loved each other, but it wasn't nothing sexual. It wasn't intimacy. Andre Homie's head confirmed that Left Eye was talking to Tupac while she was on tour with TLC. He said one time Tupac picked her up one day and he just never looked at them the same because Tupac was his homie too. But when they got into it, he said he seen a limo pulled up to his house after him and Left Eye was going through some things. She left and he said he looked out the window, it was a limo outside, and she was getting in the limo and the door cracked. And obviously he seen Tupac. But it didn't get serious because she was talking to Tretch. He ain't take it no past that as far as relations wise because of Tretch. And this interview is about that as well. Heather Hunter, which he had her in the How Do You Want It video. He had a couple of porn stars on there. He had Nina Hartley on there as well. I think she was a porn star. It was a rated R video. viewing on MTV, it wasn't hard for Hunter to say yes to the job, as Tupac's stardom would triple her pay, as she says. He was the highest paying man in the music business at that time. He tripled their salary. Their relationship extended past the video shooting. Tupac convinced her to move back to LA. She said Tupac inspired her to come back to LA. The two also apparently shared a spiritual connection, according to Hunter. She said Tupac was really close and dear person to her, just like anybody she hold close and dear, and she said she respected him. She said he was everything, and then I think he died 3 or 4 months later after that. Tupac met Keisha Morris in 1994 at the male strip club Chippendales in New York. Later, when Tupac was found guilty in the rape case, he wanted someone to handle his business communication. So he convinced her into marriage. They did a rushed marriage ceremony in jail, Keisha said in the article. His thing was he wanted to visit every day so he can get out that cell. Things were getting very different once he got bailed, and I felt like I wasn't needed anymore. They had their marriage at Newell soon after Tupac was bailed out of jail. Keisha explains the aftermath of the marriage. She quoted, "My love was sincere from my heart, but at times I did not feel the same from him. I never asked for anything materialistic because that's not why I wanted to be with him. When you are out for things that don't belong to you, it will come back to harm you later." So as far as with the Death Row, Suge Knight thing, Keisha Moore, she set that up. She was doing his business for him while he was locked up. That's another reason why he did marry her. And then when you in jail, you kind of like, it's like forcefully. And Tupac said this out of his mouth. She was a good person and everything. He said she was a good girl. But that wasn't the love of his life. He was just locked up and he needed help. He trusted her. She was there for him. So when Snoop be saying these lies, I know he's getting old and he smoke a lot. But it wasn't Snoop called up Suge, man, hey, you need to go bail him out. No, it was Keisha Moore. She the one that hit up Suge. And that's how Suge was able to see Tupac a couple of times, and they figure out a deal, and that's how he got him bailed out, not because of Snoop. 1995 is when he met Kadada Jones, the love of his life. In 1995, Tupac was married to Keisha Morris, but he met Kadada Jones through Quincy Jones' daughter at a club shortly before his trial for a rape case. Kadada initially did not speak to Tupac because Tupac had dissed her father for marrying a white woman, which that was also Kadada's mother. They met again soon after, and Tupac apologized, and she gave in and gave him her phone number. Soon enough, Tupac was in love with Kadada, saying to his mother, Fini Shakur, that he loved her. He also told his mom, "She's going to be my wife, she's having my children." He said that to his mother. Tupac was then found guilty and sentenced to jail. Thus, his marriage to Keisha was ignored. After being bailed out of jail by Suge Knight, soon after, he rented a house for him in Kadada in Calabasas, California. Later, in her father's autobiography, Kadada said Tupac was the love of her life. He and I lived together for 4 months, and then he was murdered in Las Vegas in 1996. It was the most horrible thing that ever happened to her. So that tell you right there, that's who he was really in love with. It was Kadada. The Keisha Morris thing, that was just, he needed help. And then when he got out, that was over with.